All right, so let's talk about leases for a second. Um, Leases are usually categorized one of two ways. One is as an operating lease or a capital lease. Majority of your leases are going to be an operating lease, which we're just going to record as rent expense. We're not going to have to set up our equipment as and depreciate it. If you buy some large pieces of equipment, the good news is the company that does that, it's essentially we're going to treat that like a financing arrangement. There are some actual characteristics of that. Most of the time, you're going to have to put down some significant down payment, down money, and at the end of the term, whether it's 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, then you own the property. Those are the two that are most of the time happening. We own the property now. That's a financing arrangement. They're essentially financing it for us. All right. Then they're going to know that. They're going to tell you that hey, this is a capital lease, and then we're going to have to set that up like a regular loan liability, and then we'll depreciate the asset like we would any other asset. All right. Pensions. Most of our companies too. The reason they only mention this one here, most of our companies now have what's defined. It's called a defined contribution plan, which is a 401k, some kind of a matching contribution. Employee withholds some kind of funding from their payroll, and then the company will match it to a certain amount, and then that's it. That's all you get. A defined benefit plan says, well, after you work 25 years, then you get 80% of your salary for the rest of your life. That's on the employer to plan for their future expenditures. It's not on the employee, it's on us to make sure that we have enough money in the plan to actually fund the pension liability. It's very expensive, very, very hard to calculate because you don't know how long people are going to live, how long are they going to work. It's very, very difficult to plan for, and how much costs are going to rise. Do they get standard of living adjustments, things like that? So, very, very few companies now, they've pretty much phased everybody out of this. It's very, very difficult to do. All right. We spent an inordinate amount of time working on this at Alabama because it was such a huge problem back in the day. Okay, go back here to bonds just for a second again. Um, on your notes payable, um, it really is important to stress on this with you guys that this payment doesn't change. All we're trying to figure out is what portion of my payment is going to reduce how much I owe the bank. We are paying something to principal and to interest. We are paying the loan down, and some of it is interest. Some of it's the bank's money, and some of it is returning the bank's money. All right, some of it's the bank's profit, some of it's returning what I already owe them. Okay, so but this amount, when we make these journal entries on your homework and on your test, this cash that I'm paying to them does not change. All right, all right, all right. And work through when we start working through these problems. And look at this again. We start working through the scenario. All right, work through in your mind just the example I gave about the investment. If you have the money, all right, and you're going to invest in a company, and their stated rate is this. If the stated rate here is 8%, that stated rate is the face value rate of the bond. That's how much the bond is going to pay. If you have the $100,000, are you willing to give them $100,000? I'm not. If I can get 10% somewhere else, so they have to sweeten the deal for you. They're saying, well, don't give us $100,000. All right, so that's why they have to issue it a discount. Try to work through this and create some narrative in your mind as to why or how this is happening, and then build this example and build your journal entry off of what you know is happening. This right here could say the same way about it's trading at 0.964 instead of 106.3 or 96.4%. It could say the same thing. It's trading at 0.964. Okay. All right. I will post some of the homework as we get into these in each one of the classes, but keep working. Email me with problems. Thanks, guys.